That's a great question. I've always been involved with music scene back home, particularly the classical music scene, because it's my introduction to opera happened back home as in the school choir, which we had to do an extracurricular activity in eighth grade. I always played with my cousins, but I was never that good at football or soccer. Not much of a dancer, and so. But luckily for me, the first year of high school back home, which is eighth grade, here they instituted the choir, and so we did choral music. I just loved it. Before then, I loved singing at church, singing along to the radio. I grew up, we didn't have a television, so it was a radio at all times, and I always enjoyed that. But then doing organized music in that way, and so. Even while I was in Armenia, and to this day, I keep very close contact with the Swazibank schools, choral music competition, and there's also a competition for higher choirs. And I collaborate with young upcoming musicians from my country. Part of my project when I was doing my master's in Miami, I did sort of a master class online with singers from over there. We talked about voice disorders and vocal health. I offer them guidance in terms of exploring opportunities outside of the country. And there's a new music school back home. It's not really a music school. It's sort of like a small department within, funny enough, the medical school. And in collaboration with Martha Mary Concerts, is sent a couple, several boxes of music books and other materials last year for those students to be able to use. And I haven't been able to go home much, but the next time I go there, I'd love to do a concert as well as like a workshop with young singers where we're able to do sort of a master class, and eventually I'd love to bring some of my mentors from here and colleagues to sort of hold master classes back home, and maybe a concert series that then develops into something bigger. The possibilities are endless. Music is such a strong presence in my country and in Southern Africa in general, especially choral music, classical music. I'm always in awe when I look around, the demographics for opera in this country and pretty much elsewhere, all across the world. On average, it's mostly older people, not so much the younger generation. But when you go back home, I will not speak about the rest of the continent because I'm not aware, but certainly in Southern Africa, young people just love opera and classical music. There's a lot of singers, untrained, that just have incredible gifts, and then young people that just love the music and love participating in it. And then you obviously have the older generation who loves the music. We prefer this to the loud booming, party music. And so it's just like ripe with possibilities, and that's very, very exciting for me. So every time I try to, see and notice opportunities that I could, export back home to sort of keep growing the art form. It's just you have both the demand and the supply in terms of of musicians and singers and the audience for it. All you need is just the mechanism to connect the two in a way that is sustainable. And I'm very, very excited to keep being part of that and figuring out new ways to be part of that. And there's a growing pool of composers back home too. So they're composing music in our language, Siswati, but in a classical style, a neoclassical style, but obviously with the infusion of the sound of our culture. So it's all very, very exciting.